first attack when defending.
I think it's like
Are we live? Of course we're live. People deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for joining me each and every time. Thank you very much for returning to the channel. If you're new, hit the if you're not new, if you're here anyways, hit the like button. Let's get to 100 likes. But if you're new, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribing. One love to everybody who's here. As usual, big up the DG Nation each and every time. First things first, hope everybody is doing well and safe. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and in some cases, good night, according to your time zones. We're international, and I appreciate all of you lot, regardless of it being the end of the weekend, end of the year, really, and it's a period for us to enjoy. I hope you're all enjoying with family. You're all overindulging in a healthy sense, whether that be food, enjoyment, whatever. But, regardless of the weeks, we need to move closer to our goals, hopes, dreams, ambitions, and aspirations consistently. So I wish you lot all the best this week in that regards, where your ambitions, dreams, hopes, and goals are concerned. Most importantly, can't do any of that without health. If your health is on the floor, you can forget about it. So again, hope everyone's doing well and safe. Hope everyone's got their physical health, mental health, all denominations of the word, really, in it, financial, all of that good stuff in it. And I'd love to I hope it continues, really and truly, as anyone would, really. Throughout this video, Aubameyang's been linked to Newcastle. Arteta's had a bit of a press conference. Xhaka's had a bit of an open letter to fans or an athletic piece. Ainsley Maitland-Niles allegedly is moving that much closer to, completing a move to Roma. So we've got, get your opinions in, get your talking points, get your predictions, sorry for hitting the screen. Definitely don't do that, but any sort of talking points. Again, one big reason as to why it's a pleasure to be here is because, we talk about the news, whether that be Arsenal or elsewhere, but it's genuinely a good chat. We rarely agree, but I always tell you, look, I don't tell you, look, what to think, just to think. And I always leave here with a different perspective. And that's what I set out to do when I started this YouTube thing. Just have a place where we could debate, we could agree, we could disagree, we could have a bit of laugh and a joke. And ultimately, just share a passage where, like you lot, I'm sure there's Arsenal fans here, there's fans of elsewhere, but we're fans of the game first, isn't it? Like football at its purest level. And it's a pleasure to share that with you guys. So I hope everyone's doing well and safe. Hope everyone's good at it and them things there. Man said, hey DG, man's looking fresh. DG giving the man a glow. Hey man, it could be some other things really, but you get me. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. What letter alpha? We're gonna get into it, my guy. I appreciate that. But why do people always do that? Like, we're clearly going to speak about it, my guy. We've been here for 3 minutes, man. I appreciate that. But allow me, man. There's an athletic article. I wouldn't exactly call it a letter, but just from me reading the first lines, it felt like a bit of an emotive piece from Xhaka where we're going to get into that, man. We're going to get into that. Just cool, man. Just cool, man. It's West Indian time and just chill. We're going to get there, man. We're going to get there. Arteta perhaps gathering money for a new midfielder. I hope so, bro. I hope there's a big plan because we knew Ainsley Maitland-Niles is something we have to address. We know he's someone that's 24 years of age in England international and contracted until 2023. Now, in the ideal world, I'm sure maybe, they came, it looked like we turned a corner with his future. He'd play well, increase his stature in the team, sign a new deal, It's not to be the case. And for me, crucially, like you said, we've played a dangerous game, I feel, with our midfield. I feel our midfield is a bit lightweight anyways. So if you've got Lokonga, who's had injury and also had COVID, Xhaka, who's had COVID and injury as well. So you're playing a big game. You've got the young Charlie Patino, You've got Lokonga, Patino, Xhaka probably, and Odegaard who can play there as your only real midfield options for a period. Partey and El Nene after the City game are irrelevant, so we ain't got them for a second, people. So you'd imagine we're bringing in a midfielder, and I mean it's a loan with an option to buy of around £8 million allegedly. So I'm not too sure. Again, it feels a bit of a joke because we could have made 20 million odd off Wolves and Everton for him and whatnot. Again, I wouldn't actually want a proper loan option because what I hope is that he goes over to Italy. You have seen at a point Chris Smalling look like, I don't know where it is in the water in Italy, but it gave him a new lease of life. Tammy Abraham's doing his thing there. I think that could be up Maitland-Niles' street, playing under Jose Mourinho, playing in Italy, and there's a platform, and hopefully he plays to the ability where we can say, you know what, Roma, fuck your 8-9 million euros. someone wants to buy him for 20 odd with a year left on his deal. Because I look at Ainsley, I look at Bellerin, I look at Torreira. We need to hope people buy them next year. We've got 3 players that have a year left to run on their deal, and we go through the Lacazette and Nketiah thing all over again. You throw into that Leno, the 2023 contracts, they've probably already been decided more or less, really and truly. Obviously, to an exaggerated degree, you've got Aubameyang. These things are going to have to be addressed. As you know, every club, you can't get everything done in the window. I'm sure Liverpool would have loved to have brought in different players. I'm sure City would have loved the striker if the Kane thing happened. I'm sure we would have loved to do a lot more. But January is a very typical tough time to do any of this business in the immediate future. The summer, I don't think we'll have to do as much because we did a lot of surgery this year, but still as you've seen, on the best of days, we struggled to move players on, and it just feels, the frustrating thing with Ainsley is we've been here before. Sometimes just bite the bullet, sell a man, it is what it is, people. So we'll get on to that, innit? Because I don't want to spoil it, but keep going. And like Innocent has said, we should have let Ainsley go to Wolves when they wanted him for 22 million. Exactly that, man. Exactly that. Facts and more facts. Roma really want a defensive mid from Arsenal. Last window was Xhaka. This window, Ainsley Maitland-Niles. I think Ainsley Maitland-Niles provides a window of opportunity. You know, he's a manager's dream, and I'm gassing it a bit in that he can do a job at right back. And the language you read looking in the Italian papers is that he's going to do a shift at fullback. And you know, I think Ainsley's gone past that. You know, I'm sure he'd love to play in midfield as he has been doing, but at Arsenal, you're not playing ahead of Tomiyasu. You've had COVID and illness, so you didn't get the opportunity Ben White did. But you could argue what? You've got Ben White there. That's a better option than not just you, then Cedric, Chambers, and Maitland. Tomiyasu's there on the best of days. I don't think Arteta really rates you as a midfielder, and I like you, I rate you, but I can see why. It's not that I agree with it, but everyone says play him instead of Xhaka. He's a different player to Xhaka. He cannot build like Xhaka, and I'm not using that to praise Xhaka. It's just common sense. You're not getting ahead of Thomas Partey. You're not getting ahead of Lokonga. So it's a squad player thing, and to be fair, I think I could take him for being a squad player, but he hasn't really got squad minutes. Okay, cool. You know, he can leave with his head held high. Must have made 100 appearances for this club, won an FA Cup or 2, become an England international. Haylen's done its job. It's made us a couple of million. You know, very fact that he's come from the academy and even going to make 8 million in general is a success. But that should be 20. You know, we need to be proactive, and it just feels like because we need to be self-financing it. If we were just a bit more proactive, you might have got a fee for Eddie Nketiah. You might have got a better fee for Ainsley Maitland-Niles. You know, these sort of things, like you've seen with, and I'm reaching a bit, but you sold Joe Willock for 27. Odegaard cost 30. These things can help us. And again, I'm sure a lot of you might want to keep Maitland and do these things. Selling these guys could mean the difference between having a bit more money to go and get a top level striker, or you know, Arteta might want, who knows, Arteta might want a left winger, for example. Give him some cash to do that. It's just feel, as I always say, it just feels like as we've been more self-financing, we've been a bit more reckless and not really proactive with these sort of things, man. Ainsley Hive stocks going down, need him to lift when he goes to Italy. I hope he has a good spelling. Look, I like him a lot, man. What I'm not a fan of is, you know, we just keep doing this. Like one minute he will, then he won't. Like, and we do that with a lot of players. We might as well just move on. It's best for Ainsley to go somewhere where you can genuinely play. You can play, and then obviously, you know, for us, we can move on. I always say it, Martin, and me and you have fought for him. Xhaka deserves a lot of flowers. I just feel in life you can't, and I've said this for Arteta, I've said this for Xhaka, whoever. You can't be very vocal in condemning, and when they're doing well, not praise them. You know, the problem with Xhaka is, you know, it's not strong foundations. You got to give credit for Xhaka's haters. You can't sit here and lie and say the guy hasn't got ability, because he has come to this club and he's played under every manager. Jose wanted him. You can't question mark his character. You can't question mark his integrity. Yeah, he had the bullshit with the fans, but you can't, in my opinion, you can't question mark them things. The problem is just Xhaka's ability. Xhaka, you know, we have a terrible mix in the club in that we haven't got really midfielders who can pass the ball. And the one man that can, as you know, Xhaka's got a lot of pros to his game, but a lot of cons. I personally feel in relation to Arsenal, the cons are outweighed by the pros. And I just feel whenever the foundations aren't going to be strong enough, this is it. And I just feel it's pretty damning that we've screamed even last season. And I used to do it. We needed Xhaka and David Luiz if we needed mentality. But if we're calling them our mentality monsters, this is the problem we're in. You know, Xhaka is a good player, but he should be part of the squad. And anytime, you know, these are not the strongest foundations. And I've already said, we're going to, not just him, we're going to live or die by this midfield. The attackers are not going to go to that next level until that midfield does. Whether Arteta is able to pull a magic trick out and make these two midfielders or whoever do a job, the defense is never going to get to the next level. As you see in our midfield, there's a gap. You know, in my opinion, our defense is overcompensating because they're having to step into midfield too much. Like, you're having to see too many times where Ben White and Gabriel, because they haven't really got the midfielders, man. I feel like the pros are blown up to the point of not being true. Well, I can't speak for no one else. I can speak for myself. Again, that's probably where it goes into scapegoating. Xhaka is a good midfielder, but again, if you need a million years on the ball like you saw against Norwich to play those sort of passes, there's a problem. You know, Xhaka, I feel when he's mad consistent, people don't give him his credit. When he's terrible, they say it. You know, Xhaka goes on these good runs of form and then it's mixed in between some shaky moments. He's just simply not good enough to be the main guy to rebuild this team. And it's a fact, really, because as much as I've just praised him about the managers always playing him, you could say that's probably why it hasn't worked out. You know, I don't think people give Xhaka his credit for his ability, his mentality, the way he gets people going. But, you know, if we're talking about Xhaka is not press resistant. The best midfielders are press resistant. If we're going to play out from the back and 4 moves, we're not always going to have a number of years on the ball. You know, I do think people get at his discipline and things and it goes against him. But yeah, man, the pros are not outweighing the cons. You know, what's the pros of Xhaka being in the side? We're a bit more progressive. He covers his left back. That's 2 things any standing midfielder should be able to do in the Premier League, let alone a technical side that is going to be Arsenal. And I just feel it's a bit like the Ozil thing, whether I defend Xhaka or not. If you get 20 Arsenal fans in the room, and it's difficult with Xhaka because there's emotion, if you get 20 Arsenal fans, 5 are going to say one thing, 5 are going to say the other. So I think that kind of tells you the territory you're at with Granit. You know, has he justified his price tag? I would say yes, because it weren't the biggest. I would say no. You know, we've got the one thing I feel didn't help Xhaka is his countryman De Juru saying this guy's the Swiss Perlo and all of those sort of things. I do think Arteta has made, you know, how do I make it make sense? Xhaka isn't getting caught quite in gaps and things, but he's too slow on the ball and he's too long. It's like you've got Xhaka who's too slow on the ball, and you've got the other midfielders who don't have the ability or haven't got the confidence to play a pass. Teams know you press Xhaka, you've got half a chance. I think a lot is made about his discipline because of his attitude, but there's always that factor. There's not really evident pros to him being in the side. There are times, even this season, you know, when it's Spurs and these sort of games there, you say, oh, yeah, this is why Xhaka came into the team, you know. And to be fair to Xhaka, I like his mentality. Fans didn't want him in the team. But also, you've seen times where we've won and fans said, you know, you go back to when Partey and Odegaard played together, fans said you didn't need Granit. So I think Granit's a squad player, a rotation problem in itself. I feel the problem with Granit is a bit like the same thing with Giroud, is that we put players in boots they can't fill. We're looking at Giroud to score 20 league goals. You know, Chelsea wasn't. You know, he wasn't Chelsea's main goal scorer. Yes, he stood up to be counted and he pulled them along when they needed to, but they weren't looking at him to necessarily do that. You know, we shouldn't be looking at Xhaka to be this guy. I think Xhaka is a better squad player. As I said, I don't think there's any in-betweens with speaking about Granit because it's an emotionally charged one, isn't it? Really and truly, man. Basuma is not progressive. If he was so bad, it would be easy to find a better replacement. Nobody said he's a bad player. Well, I'm speaking for myself. I don't believe he's a bad player, and I don't think that's the logic, because you could have said if Bellerin was so bad, it would have been easy to find a replacement for years. You know, we can't look at that. I do think Xhaka's mentality is a big reason as to why he's in the squad. Xhaka is a good squad player, but we need Basuma to take us to the next level. 2 different sorts of players. I would like Basuma or someone like that, another combative midfielder, but I think we've already got them. Ironically, I think you need someone that more does Xhaka's skill set to replace Xhaka than you do with that, because at least you've got Lokonga and Partey. Of course, if there's injuries, I would like someone else to be there, but we need progressive midfielders. Again, I like Xhaka. I think there's Xhaka sexuals that defend the undefendable. I think there's people that slate the man, much like others, and I think both are doing too much. Both are lying to themselves. I just simply feel there should be a better player in Xhaka's place. Now, games where you're going to be on top of them and whatnot, then yeah, Xhaka. I just feel Xhaka should be a rotation option within my eyes, but it is what it is, man. Nah, his positioning is subjective. positioning is very subjective. I feel, you know, he's getting caught out in gaps, but there's also times when he's not in position. So yeah, I would say his positioning looks better because he's filling in for Tierney and that, but I wouldn't necessarily say his positioning is good. The main things I like about Xhaka, he doesn't hide. And I don't, and I don't like to say this because it kind of makes out other people are hiding, but he doesn't. He asks for the ball. Whether I believe in his ability, he asks for the ball, and he doesn't hide whether he's done things right or wrong. That's one thing I like about the man's integrity. You could probably have some sort of trust in him, but fundamentally, it's just not going to take us to the next level. Like, it's not, these are not the hills to die on, you know. The Ainsley Maitland-Niles is the Xhakas, Joe Willocks. These are not the players to ride or die for. It is what it is. You know, want to be wrong, but I don't think Arsenal will kick on significantly with Granit Xhaka as their main man in the middle of the park, really. But anyways, I just feel like our mid can't hold on to the ball sometimes. From Ainsley, Maitland, now Xhaka party, they all lose the ball. None of them are progressive players. Xhaka's the most described as that, really. None of them are progressive players, and the lines always get blurred. The lines got blurred with Xhaka. You know, the media and everyone made out he could do everything, and there's almost unrealistic expectations on top of just probably underwhelming. You know what happened? Ainsley, again, he's just not that guy. Partey, the lines got blurred. The man's a box-to-box ball-winning midfielder, first things first. Then people are talking about all these other things. You know, let people lock down one role first. Like, I know, for example, Tomiyasu can play centre-half and right-back. He's a, you know, from what he's done at Arsenal, he's a right-back that hasn't played at centre-half yet, but he has the ability to do that. Ben White, yeah, he's played whole heap of times right back. He might have even played as a right back more than a centre half in his top flight career so far, people. But he's evidently a centre back, able to do a job at right back. Smith Rowe is a 10, able to play as an 8, able to play as an inverted winger, wide playmaker and things. When you Martinelli up front and in the wings and Saka, when you've got man like that, adaptability. But sometimes that could be described as shoehorning according to the player's competence and ability. And again, big up Xhaka for what he did for the fans. This is what I said. I never had to doubt his integrity. You know, one of the toughest times for me doing YouTube is when he saw at the fans, because I feel they were both wrong. I felt at the time probably should have moved on from Xhaka because it is what it is. It felt quite toxic. I think the fans were wrong because they scapegoated a man, they attacked a man, they got at a man. And fundamentally in life, you can't tell someone to fuck off. He tells you to fuck off back and you're upset just because you've paid money for something. What do you think this is? You know, that reminds me of when I used to work in customer service. A man think just because they're coming into the supermarket or to the store, you know, they can talk to you any sort of way. It doesn't work like that, man. Even Xhaka's mobility, I don't think it's as evidently a problem under Arteta. I think you've seen he looks a bit more, not all rounded because he's still doing the same things, but it's like you don't see him caught out as much. You know, in his first early days under Arteta, I remember when we played Spurs. Remember when Partey got injured after we rushed him? Look how Xhaka's caught on the counter. You don't really see that now. And I feel with Xhaka, it sounds silly to say, but I think he gives managers confidence. There's a certain level of integrity and professionalism that he comes with, man. Telemans, but yeah, man, if people saw Telemans against City with them penalties he conceded, man wouldn't have given him any time a day. That's why I said he's not progressive, DG. Xhaka's not a progressive midfielder to me, but definitely in relation to what we've got, he's the most progressive midfielder, in my humble opinion, unless you're going to slap Odegaard there. You know, if we could get some ball carriers or players that can play a killer pass or that, I want players that are really, really comfortable in possession, players that can hold on to the ball for a few minutes, and when you're away from home and everyone's up against you, buy you some fouls. I don't think we have any of that in our team. And again, considering that Arteta and Eddie were midfielders, I keep saying this, boy. Telemans would be a madness, but why was he going to come here? Bruno Gomares is linked with Roma, so can we put a cheeky bid in? Love for the super chat, 3 at the back against City. It could be something to consider. Truthfully, I haven't given it much thought, my guy, but it could be something to consider, especially with these injuries and all of these sort of things. Guendouzi's progressive, no. He's not weird. Passes a ball forward don't always mean you're a progressive midfielder. But I see the angle, though. Should have sold Ainsley Maitland-Niles to Wolves for 22 million 2 years ago. Now we're struggling for 10 million euros and a loan to Roma. The thing is with that, they're gonna make a piece on Maitland. If you sell him for 8-9 million, they're gonna make their profit. Even if he doesn't really improve, he's English. He's 24. They'll make a decent tidy profit. It's a bit like, listen, at the time we had a million things to do, so Mavropanos and Guendouzi, I understood just trying to confirm some P's for them, but you knew what Stuttgart and Mislintat were on already. You know that's going to make a handsome profit for them, man. Hit the like button. Can we get to 100? And Mavropanos is linked with Dortmund now. I can't buy the hype with Mavropanos. I think he's a good defender. I think fans that I'm not watching are just chatting a lot of shit personally, but we could have made P's. Guendouzi, they're already going to make more than their 8 or 9 million on him when they do sell him, and we probably just wanted Guendouzi, get rid of Guendouzi at the club, but yeah, man, how you sell players, it's very reactive, really and truly. And again, I do hope with Ainsley Maitland-Niles, that's the last of it. Can't lie, I'm going to be disappointed to see Ainsley go to Roma. I mean, I don't know, man. Martin, you're sounding, I love you, my guy, but I don't, you're sounding like, you're sounding like Xhaka is paying you at this moment in time. Relax, my guy. Guendouzi is gone. Do these people get described as Guendouzi sexuals too? Yeah, they would if they're unnecessarily chatting about Guendouzi. If the man's gone, the man's gone. I'm not really, you're sounding hurt, my guy. We all have different opinions. You don't need to live or die. I appreciate you for being a member, but chill out, bro. And yeah, for argument, yeah, they would. If anybody's still chatting shit about Guendouzi and still crying and crying and crying and crying and crying and crying and crying, then they would be that really and truly. He's gone. Guendouzi's gone. Fuck Guendouzi. He's gone. Bro, I know footballers get tribal, but man need to carry on. Ward-Prowse isn't better than Xhaka. Definitely not in terms of being a progressive midfielder. Ward-Prowse would be good for us. Now Xhaka is being asked to play in an advanced position. I wouldn't necessarily say that. Would someone like De Jong be suitable? De Jong would be suitable for Arsenal anyways, my guy. Don't hear no one talking about Neves. Oof. Prefer El Nene leaving than Ainsley Maitland-Niles. I mean, Ainsley's gone in the summer, innit? So I would love to see 2 midfielders, central midfielders brought in within the next 6 to... Well, it's not exactly, let's say 6 to 8 months or 6 to 9 months or whatever. DG, would you give Partey more time or sell next summer? But bro, what are you going to get? You don't get your 45 million. I'd persist with Partey. But as I've said before, it now becomes a thing of, is it a partner for Partey thing, or do you find a completely different replacement? You lot are violating. We're only at 68 likes. Unexpected high bills due for anyone who has not hit that like button. Hopefully we delay this move because White can't play right back against Liverpool twice, Tottenham and the FA Cup games. I don't know, man. You'd imagine Tomiyasu is back. I mean, if there's a sell-on clause, then why not, man? In fact, all now we've been speaking about Ainsley Maitland-Niles and we ain't been reading a damn thing. Where is it, people? If I share my screen with you guys, 1 second. In relation to Ainsley Maitland-Niles, apparently Ainsley Maitland-Niles is close to joining Roma on loan for the rest of the season. As you know, he has not featured in any of Arsenal's past 8 matches. That's it. Arteta can tell you everything. You're not playing. And I don't begrudge Arteta because end of the day, we've been getting results. When you're not getting results, then I could sit here and entertain, why isn't Pepe playing? Ainsley this, Martinelli historically that. And they're all legit at the time. Don't get it twisted. But when you're winning games, we got to remember, man, need to get 3 points. All this... You're not playing, you're playing bullshit comes second, really and truly. I would like Ainsley to play more. I couldn't understand how he got rubbed out against Watford. But what could I say when everything else is working, when the midfield is working to a T, etc.? Ainsley probably ain't good enough right now to be in the middle of the park for Arsenal week in, week out. The manager ain't giving you a chance. I'm sure everybody's tired of the social media antics from him and Nikial. I love Ainsley Maitland-Niles, but keep it moving. You're 24. Go somewhere where you're going to play, whether that's at right back or elsewhere. Settle down your roots and keep it moving, really and truly. Again, all I care about is Arsenal bringing in midfielders because, again, clearly I've got an agenda in terms of seeing midfielders arrive at the club. You need about 2. And this club hasn't tried to really... I hope that any targets you tried to move for in the summer, their cases have been kept warm and we're moving in January, as difficult as it might be. But anyways, Ainsley is close to reaching an agreement to join Roma on loan from Arsenal for the remainder of the season. Roma need reinforcements in fullback positions in Jose Mourinho's squad, but have not budgeted to spend large amounts of money in the January transfer window, so they're exploring the loan market. And again, you've actually seen him play at, you know, Ainsley's played in the back four, in the back three. He's actually put in a shift at left back. He's played at right back. Obviously, he's played in midfield as well. He's made 8 appearances this season, but hasn't played since November, people. The feeling at Roma is Mourinho will be able to help Ainsley rediscover his best form, as has happened with Tammy, who joined the club from Chelsea and has scored 12 times in 25 games. And I mean, go and do that. Go and show potentially Southgate, you know, he should be looking at you, Tomori and Tammy. Playing under Jose Mourinho is a dream in itself. You've played at 24 years of age. You've come from Arsenal's academy. You've won FA Cups. You've played under Arsene Wenger. You've played under Jose Mourinho, allegedly or prospectively. There's enough Italy, lovely way of life. You could probably pick up a lot of tips, you know, especially defending. And again, for Roma, it makes sense if they do commit to buying him on a permanent one. Then there's that. Again, I can't lie. I might be being a bit childish, but we should be making it as difficult as it could be for Roma because they pissed us about with Xhaka. As good as Xhaka allegedly is to Xhaka sexuals, why didn't they want to spend an extra 2 odd mil? And to be honest, it's not nice mentally, man. When you're training, you know you're not gonna play. For Arteta, I get it because I don't think Ainsley's good enough to be in the starting lineup. And when we're winning, it is what it is. I do think he should get more opportunities. I would have liked him to have been more of a squad player. I get it. From Ainsley, I get it. The manager, and it's your fault now. You've let him lie to you twice. It's not even lies. The manager's going to gash you. He's going to tell Balogun anything to sign a new deal. If he wants Ainsley to stay for the squad, he's going to gash you. He tried to gash Joe. Joe said, no, I'm keeping it moving. He's going to gash Eddie to stay because he wants him to stay. Eddie's saying, you know what, I'm not really on it. You've let him, you come across Ainsley's he just wants to play, just wants a bit of love. You got lied to with the Wolves thing, it didn't bang. Everton, we should have let you go. It is what it is, and we keep going down here. It seems like there's a resolution, we've turned a corner and we're back. Just let the man leave. Whether we let him go in January or if that's the right decision should be an issue because again, there's bodies being, you know, you'd have El Nene Partey and Ainsley Maitland-Niles already eradicated for at least a period in January. So surely the club are looking at midfield, which needs to be revamped. We all know he made a plea on social media. His girlfriend's still chatting shit on social media as well, you know. So let's just nip this in the bud, man. Like I said, he's won 3 FA Cups. He's made 132 appearances. Leave with your head held high. The man's not going to... I mean, Ainsley would be a serious idiot to sign a new deal at this football club. Obviously, I say that. They'll put a bit more zeros on the contract, but you're probably best to keep it moving. You know, we could let him persist and hang around like a bad smell for a year. I love Ainsley. Nobody wants these Haaland boys to be in the first team more than me. I've told you, look, I dream of the impossible, of a 25-man squad, 11 starters, all from the academy. It won't happen, but that's what I want us to do. But for me, it's just securing top money because, again, I don't want to mention our London rivals. Chelsea, if this was a situation with Ainsley, they're making 20, 30. I'm saying that to be a bit nice to us because they make a lot more than it. Make your peas. You know, Eddie wants to stay. All right, go. All right, cool. Piss off then. Ainsley, piss off then. Make your peas. And then revamp that because, again, if you sold Ainsley for 20 or you get a decent loan fee and a permanent offer, which probably takes it closer into the 10 regions, and you slap that on to getting better players, what can I tell you? It's a necessary evil. You know, everybody said selling Joe was a mistake after the goals. Well, suddenly the goals are not there. No one gives a shit anymore. Odegaard doing the business. And there's just way too... And you know what? Why I'd be happy for it, assuming they'd commit to a permanent offer, because next summer there's bare players with speculation. There's Aubameyang, there's Leno. Eddie and Nketiah and Lacazette won't be things, you know. You've got so many. Bellerin to come back. Torreira still on paper. Torreira and Nketiah, even Ainsley, they'd all be contracted for another year, really, really and truly. And this was what he said later. So, yeah, go and do your thing, Ainsley, man. Your new walk of life, Italy as well. Again, you got to remember when some of you have been... How many of us have worked jobs we don't like, where we don't like to be in the office or on the building site or whatever? It kills you mentally. I'm not saying he doesn't want to be at Arsenal, but when you're somewhere where they got faith in you, there's belief, the manager believes in you, you get a spring in your step, man. You get a spring in your step. Hit the like button if you hate Tottenham, 100%. Sell Ainsley Maitland-Niles and buy our. Would love that. I would love to see Ainsley Maitland-Niles play. I mean, Emil Smith-Rowe playing false 9 if Lacazette is unavailable. Yeah, I would rather Martinelli just play up front. I'm not quite ready for that. We'll try it with Pepe. I know Smith-Rowe can do it. We tried to do it against Villarreal. I'd rather just do it with Pepe, that false 9 thing with Pepe or something. Or maybe have better luck trying it with Odegaard if our backs were against the wall because he's slightly more experienced. But yeah, man. I'd rather just play strikers where they're supposed to be. I'd rather just play Ainsley within an 8, a 6. Man said 6, an 8, a 10 out wide, etc. I've never known a player like Xhaka to divide fans. One thing I have to say is Xhaka has strong mentality to come back, which is true. Overall, I think I think Arsenal, especially Arteta's reign, treated Ainsley Maitland-Niles very poorly. I don't think they did. A lot of these players wanted to stay. Ainsley is decent, but he's nothing more than a fifth choice midfielder. Now, I think there's a lot to come from Ainsley. There's a lot of personality in them things he's yet to see. There's a lot of self-discovery. You know, if you are to be a utility man, you know, what sort of central midfielder are you going to be? And them things there. What sort of right back are you going to be? I don't think he understands everything that goes into playing in midfield. Not that I can tell him anything. And into fullback, he's neither at the moment in time. He wants to play both. He's open to playing both. But yeah, man. I'm a bit worried about depth if Ainsley Maitland-Niles goes. Same, but I mean, surely the club surely the club has clocked it. That's an issue. I mean, we all hope we find bargains, man. Man are saying he can play false 9. Have they forgotten our performance against Villarreal? I mean, we shouldn't judge anyone on one performance, but yeah, man, I'd rather him just play in his usual positions, man. I mean, interchanging movement, I'm all for it. You know, I'm all for any player like City at times occupying the central position throughout their game. But Ainsley Smith Rowe making a career of being a false 9. Oh, I don't know. I mean, Patino is clearly being used for depth. That's why he was on the bench, and we're gonna have to really and truly. Big up DG. Ainsley Maitland-Niles should go, won't get the game time. Exactly. And to be fair with you, listen, I want him to go and prove Arteta and Arsenal wrong. I love Ainsley Maitland-Niles. He's from A-Land. I want us to sit here and say, well, how did we let him go? But reality is we've got a lot of these storyline dons, really, and we need to get away with get rid of these storylines. You know, Xhaka's a storyline guy. 1 minute he's staying, then he's going. Lacazette's been one. You know, we've had Pepe's one at this moment in time. There's hella forgotten man at the club. You know, Kolasinac. How many of you forgot that he was even a thing? It is what it is. People with Ainsley Maitland-Niles. I wish him all the best, but yeah, man, it just simply is what it is. We just have to keep it moving, man. It is what it is. What else are we looking for? Let me go on my Athletic article here, folks. Again, Xhaka. I don't believe we will be best friends, but I feel much more love from Arsenal fans than 2 years ago. True, but I would say for all fans, you know, if I'm Aubameyang, if I'm Xhaka, don't buy into the love. Love could turn a hat. And that goes for all clubs. You know, they don't love you. They love what you're doing. They don't love Granit Xhaka. They love the midfielder they see in the middle of the park. Your family loves you. Your mother loves you. The club don't love you. You know, even if you're a good player at a club, nobody cares once you retire within reason. No one loves you. Ramsdale should bear that in mind as well, because a lot of fans didn't want you. Now they're loving you. Them things there can change. The Haylen boys, the minute Saka and Smith Rowe went through a little bit of a struggle, man, we're saying things about them. Football fans, you know, thinking, you know, buying into all the negative hate they give you and all the love they give you is subjective. Man hated Ramsey for a long period. A lot of fans cried and were on their knees to keep the man when he left. Anyways, people, I don't know if you lot can actually see that, but I'll just read it out to you. So I don't even know how the hell do you even zoom in on Safari. Okay. What's that? DG with the shortcuts, yeah? Mad. Apparently, anyways, a few weeks ago, Granit Xhaka was out and about with a friend going about his day when he was approached by a man pointing a phone at him with a pack of his mates in support. Let's just say the man with the phone was not interested in a civil exchange. He began his tirade, bad-mouthing a series of Xhaka's teammates, his manager, you name it, debating partly designed to provoke a response to capture on camera. And again, you know, this is where I don't advocate. These men are human beings. You know, whatever you say about a player, nobody's doing these things on purpose. Man, make mistakes. Nobody deserves to be terrorized outside the grounds. And the thing is, you know, Xhaka's a man first. You know, he's a prideful person. Don't abuse these lot in public, because don't make them do something they want. Xhaka's not afraid. You know, look at his background and things. Man will lift you in your thump you in your mouth if you overdo it. But this is the things that people have to put up with, and I don't like it at all, people. In moments like this, Xhaka has to force himself to pause for a beat or two to remind himself to curb the temptation to make his own point in no certain turns. I have to calm down because it is very easy to be very angry when a lot of people are, sorry to say, speaking a lot of crap. That's why I'm defending the things I'm thinking is right. And that's true. I don't think footballers have to accept a lot. And a lot of fans, myself included, we make a lot of judgments and we don't see everything that goes to stuff. And I just feel, even me in YouTube, I take a lot of stuff. But the minute you speak back, you're a bad guy, and it's like, no, I'm allowed an opinion if I think you're talking nonsense about either my performance or whatever. Xhaka didn't rise to the man with the phone, but inwardly reinforced his own desire to protect Arsenal and people within all his might. It's like an extra purpose he feels nowadays in his football life, not just training and playing, but supporting and standing up for his team and teammates. Exactly, man. Scrolling all the way down, people, brother, I don't know what that says. That vignette escalates. But I passed English, but that's too smart for man. Inside the club, you would be very hardly pressed to find a single soul who does not admire and even adore how much he wants to defend the club. And I think even his harshest critics could see that. Outside the inner spectrum, empathy is more scarce. His full steam, witful character on the pitch, including moments of recklessness and one infamous episode in 2019, blah, blah, blah. He understands that he has only ever played with passion levels on max and has experienced enough to know that that can provoke a lot of strong feelings. He lives with this radical contrast between how close to him and those distant to him regard him. It's almost like he has a double life. To be fair to you, you've got to be able to fight. I can see a lot of parallels because I see a lot of myself in Xhaka, to be fair. I'm prone to recklessness and stuff like that. He's a descendant of immigrants that have left to make a war-torn life, left a war-torn life for a better one. So you can imagine the scrutiny he has had to face, not only at Arsenal. He didn't start off the best of periods at Gladbach. His own life and professional life, early beginnings in Switzerland, and obviously here, brother encapsulates. That's it there. But the way it was there, bro, that my dyslexia is coming up, man. It's one of them ones. We have to allow it, man. But yeah, they just want clout. Just leave the man alone. Xhaka, them things there you can't win. If someone runs up at you in public, Xhaka's the bad guy for thumping man up. He said, I'll be very honest and say this is the most important thing for me. People I see every day and I give them every respect because that's how I was brought up, to respect everyone, young and old. We know each other. I feel very, very good in the dressing room. I think I'm a different person off the pitch. I like to joke, to laugh a lot. We see that a lot. He seems like he likes dry humor a lot. But on the pitch, I'm a guy with a lot of passion. Same. I can't change that. Just channel it. I wouldn't, anyone that's played football at any levels, there's certain things, if you take them out of someone, if you take that thing out of Diego Costa, that thing out of Luis Suarez, even not as much, but Vieira, you take that little bit of an edge out of their game, you kill them. You kill what's inside of them. Anyone that's played Sunday League, there's certain things you can't curb. Like, I can't curb my aggression on a pitch. Like, I'm not no mad reckless person, but it fires me up. I like when the crowd are saying your shit, fuck you. I'm on that stuff back. It gets man going. Like, somebody kicks me, I'm on it from there. I'm trying to kick man back. That's just what gets me going on a pitch. So, and that's Sunday League. So only Xhaka and these lot could imagine. And even the softer players, there's a little bit of moments. Like, even when I'm playing Sunday League, I like to have it's a bit weird, but the first touch of the game, for me, if that's a good one, I'm going to have a good game. If that's a terrible one, it's going to struggle. So there's all little trigger moments and little things that make these guys the way they are. And I feel fans don't see that. Fans really fail to realize that footballers are individuals. What works for one might not work for the other. And that's when talking about coaching, man management, ish like this as well. So yeah, and to a degree, I'll be real. I feel like that, Obviously, I care about all of you lot on YouTube and things like that. But at the same time, you lot don't know me. You lot could love me and hate me tomorrow, hate me and love me tomorrow. So I agree with Xhaka on that. I don't really care what strangers feel, as long as the people in my personal life and people who see me on an everyday, they know who I am or what I'm about. That's all you can thingy in it. Because people, and the thing I don't like about football or criticizing football, by all means, get at people for what they're doing on a football pitch. But sometimes, and especially with Xhaka, it goes personal. Like, people have been criticizing him and they've got at his heritage, like that doesn't make any sense. Again, you've got to be very careful when speaking about things. And it's a bit of a shame that Xhaka had to deal with that, because anyone that sees Xhaka, he's a nice person. A couple of my brethren got pictures when they used to work in Selfridges. He said he's a different person anyways. He acknowledges how his relationship with Arsenal supporters has been complex. Some have continued to support him through thick and thin. You know, slap on the wrist for what you deserve. But you know, one thing I like about myself is right is right, wrong is wrong. I don't like people being condemned for things that are unfair. He said, I never used to have a problem on the street. People were good with me. Of course, they might say something. That is part of life. But after what happened 2 years ago, we were very far from each other. I think we are step by step coming closer and closer. I don't believe we will be best friends. And that's why I always think Xhaka indirectly is open to leaving. I don't believe we will be best friends, but what I can tell is from the first day until the last day I'm here, I'll do everything for the football club. I've never had to disagree with that. I've never had to doubt his integrity. I will make mistakes because everyone does. We're not perfect, but I will give 100% in every training session, in every game. This is my message to the fans. Sometimes you have misunderstandings, and I believe this was the only reason for the problem we had between us. I feel much more love than 1 or 2 years ago, but it's a slow process we have to do with each other, and, you know, that's lovely. You know, some of his critics don't put so much value on his reputation as a great person in the dressing room. I think a lot is made of that. At Arsenal, I hate that because I've seen that said about Lacazette, El Nene, anyone. And it seems like when we're linked with players moving on, that's being said. Everyone should be good for the young players. Everyone should be, you know, good in the dressing room. Simple as that. And to be fair, but yeah, it's a bit harsh. Apparently, his background with Albanian family roots and the influence of a father who was a political prisoner around the time of war in the former Yugoslavia before the Xhakas fled to Switzerland has installed a toughness and single-mindedness that keeps him striving to what he thinks is the best, irrespective of circumstances. Facts. I know the word struggle because of my background. I have a lot of different experiences behind me. It's important to me that people understand my character. I'm very open but very direct as well because you have no choice but to fight. I don't like to be like a snake, trust me. And that's I like the way Xhaka tries to leave through the front door when he was going, when he was flirting with all the Italian publications in the Euros. He said, you know, always sliding right to the left, to the right. That's not me. I like to be direct, honest, and straight. Sometimes you make mistakes because you're too direct, but with experience, you can do it in a different way, which is true, you know. Nothing has altered his intentions in how he wants to represent the club, blah, blah, blah. He said, this is part of my life. I had difficulties before, but not in this kind of way. In the end, I took it very positively. And if one day in the future I speak about it with my kids, I know I'll be able to smile because it was key to making me a stronger person and also stronger connected to this football club. That was 1 or 2 occasions when Xhaka might have left but didn't. The other was last season when the club were open to offers to sell the Swiss midfielder, particularly on the back of an excellent international tournament at the Euros. Xhaka grappled with that too. He didn't want to go. Mikel Arteta was instrumental, not for the first time in keeping him around. That symbolizes a big part of Xhaka's perception conundrum. Every manager he's ever had for club and country, with the exception of the big flashpoint under Emre, sticks by him, trusts him, wants him, values him, and plays him for 90 minutes almost all the time. So as we were just saying, no matter what you say about Xhaka, there's man that know all about football more than us that plays them. You could play devil's advocate and that say that's why the club hasn't kicked on, or you haven't. Some people have lost their jobs, but you could also say that's whatever you have to say. That's what Xhaka comes with. Xhaka has arrived early at London Coley. Listen, I'm trying to skip all of that and just get to what Granite is saying. He said, I love to see tackles, but they have to be fair. I don't like to see someone injure a player on purpose. Nobody does, I think. But tackling is a big part of our job. My passion is to win and not let the opponent have the ball. We're all human beings and make mistakes, but it only comes from a place of passion. And this is where I think it's interesting because, again, I don't understand how referees are seen as impartial and non-biased. They watch football. If they decide that people like Zaha and Xhaka are loose characters, then of course they're going to be penalised. Like you've seen, Xhaka makes a certain tackle. Whether you like him or not, it's World War II. The man's going to get sent to Guantanamo Bay. People, whether it's, I remember Trent on Saka a few years ago, Arnautovic on Debussy, you know, Ben Godfrey on Tomiyasu a few months ago against Everton. I'm not saying these guys meant it, but if Xhaka does that, the man's probably going to be sentenced to the firing squad, if I'm honest with you. When I came to the Premier League, everyone said in this league, you can go very hard. And I love it. This is exactly my game and what I want to do. But when you see some tackles, and imagine if I was in this position, I'd be sent off straight away. This stops me sometimes to go in how I really want. And that could make you a better player, to be fair. Stay on your feet. If I really go how I want, I will get a red card every 3 or 4 games, which is true. He said, If I risk, I know I am closer to a red than any other player in the Premier League. Maybe I am wrong, but that is what I feel. So sometimes in a game, I stop from going for risky ones, because if I get a red card, it all starts up again. I don't want to give arguments for others to speak about me for stupid things. I try not to risk much. And the thing is with Xhaka, I don't really like that. You know, I like that you're thinking and you're trying to stay on your feet and not getting fouls. But I don't like that, because we've also felt that we all know a couple of players. We've all said this. We feel that because of what certain individuals are going to do on social media or certain match day review blogs and things, these players might get killed for it. At times it looks like it. We might not play a certain pass or whatever. Listen, we're playing football. If you make a mistake, get a red card, by all means. If you do well, we talk about it. If you do bad, we talk about it. But come tomorrow, it is what it is. You know, we're playing football. Football means the world to me. I have a tough time sleeping when we lose, but at the end of the day, man's only got a red card. You know, I don't want any player, whether I like them at this club or not, to be scared to do certain things, especially things that make them themselves. Go in for that fucking tackle, man. I know what's being said, but don't think about, you don't want to give people things to speak about. I hear it and I agree with it, but people are going to speak about you rightly or wrongly. And I think that's what you've got to look at mentally, people, you know. Even if we use me as an example on YouTube, you've got to find that, you know, to some people, oh, you're really deluded. To some people, you're not so deluded. And I'm not going to live or die by those opinions, because I know both times the haters, baby mamas are feeling the guy. You get me? But anyways, on a serious note, they're going to talk anyways, whether you get a red card or not, you know. Since Xhaka's been integrated back into the team, he was, you know, praised for Spurs, critiqued for other games and whatnot. But yeah, man. And the thing with people like Xhaka is it starts getting unfair, in that, you know, you get overly praised or overly criticized. There's no in between. He said, when I once got a red card, the ref said to one of my teammates, you know how Xhaka is, he loses his head. And that's one thing I fail to understand, because when other men do it in the Prem, it's passionate and all of that. It does seem according to your race or nationality and stuff at times, especially when players like this. There's a bias for English players. I'm not going to sit here and cap. There's an evident bias for English players. A lot of English players go out there and do some fuckery, and because it's seen as passionate and things, they get away with it. There's a lot of them that do things like that, and there's an unconscious bias, especially when you're seen as someone who's a good guy and a nice guy and things. You know, if I'm not saying Kane isn't, if Kane does that tackle, if Xhaka does that tackle on Robertson, he's gone. Kane hasn't done that because he benefits from a bias that sees him as holier than thou. He's not a bad guy. He didn't mean it. That's why man are not getting sent off. And it's not just Kane. There's several others. This feels wrong just because I lost my head against Burnley, for example. It's not like I lose my head every time. To put me in a box like this, I believe is wrong. Xhaka wants to play a determined game, but craves consistency with each judgment judged independently on his own merit rather than And that's all we want. Don't, because a man gets a lot of red cards, is that a red card tackle or is it not? If it's a red card tackle, come off the pitch. If it's not, don't come off the pitch. Scrolling all the way down, he said, I still go in. Sometimes I get messages from my friends, but I try not to go in a lot. He also said, trying to scroll the way down, man. You know, he said to swerve, you know, he's spoken about fatherhood respectfully, you know, is what it is. You know, I admire you being a father, but it's irrelevant to me. Big up yourself, but I just care about Xhaka, the footballer. Anyways, he said, of course, what I wanted when I had kids was for home to be family time, but sometimes it's so difficult because of how much I love the thing I do. Of course, you know, even me with YouTube and everything, you can't turn it off because you're always thinking about things. And I'm sure Arteta, he can't always be the best father or girl. I'm about to call Arteta a girlfriend, husband or whatever, uncle, because man are thinking about things. The thing about football, there's no off switch. Like you're involved in it all the time, and nothing is deeper than when you've lost. Everyone's been there. Sunday league, even if you fucking play Football Manager, you lose a game, you're thinking about it all year. You're thinking about it for time. You know, it is what it is, man. Scrolling all the way down. He said, this was the plan for Mikel. He told me he wanted me to be with the team as much as possible. To start, I was in at different times with different things to do, but step by step, I was. And big up Xhaka mentally for handling his injury as well. I was always with them in meetings, in training, in the gym, and that helps him as well. So I still got contact. When you're injured, you can see a lot of things in a different way. You see different things because you're not, pardon me, so focused game by game. You can see where we can improve as a team, as a group. In that way, it was good. It was a good 10 weeks for me. To be fair, I could see him becoming a manager one day, but I just think because of what's happened, he will never do that. He was on hand for one-to-one chats with players who needed it, and that's good. And this is why Xhaka's there, innit? Apparently, Xhaka is a big fan of his Ghanaian midfield partner, but wonders if the pressures of living up to his price tag has held him back. Probably has, you know. Arsenal fans are weird. Let's be real. You know, they've gone from gassing up a man are making songs about Partey. He can do this, that, and the other. And yeah, he's had a wobble at times and he's underwhelmed. But man, just it flips at a switch. You know, man, it's unhealthy. Football's unhealthy. Man, go from gassing you to hating you, and we all know you've got these weirdos who go on the socials and abuse man and things like that. It's just a mazza, really. You know, and again, I genuinely think a lot of these players, you know, you've got to just forgive yourself. If you make a mistake, they're going to talk. If you play a great pass, they're going to talk. It looks like a lot of our players sometimes, and that's why I like this little bit of form. They're scared because they know what's going to be said about them, and that's what kills me. He said he cost a lot of money and people see only the price, but I think it is wrong because it's not only our fault if people pay 50, 60, 100. If I can help him, I will. I told him he has to take the pressure from himself because he has the qualities to play in every team. He's thinking he has to show everyone why he cost 50 million euros. He's starting to understand that and is doing much better. Fair play. With Thomas, every time he was in good shape, he was out with small injuries. I hope he stays first of all healthy without injury. I love to play with him. He's a great midfielder and an amazing guy. He's a guy who wants to improve, is coming in asking you questions, and is open to learn. Sambi Lokonga is the same, and he has a big future for someone so young. Come on. And this is it. He said, I love to see the boys. The most difficult thing I learned is to stay there. I remember when I was their age, I had experienced players around me I could trust and talk to. I want to be that for them. Hit the like button if you haven't. I want to give them the feeling that every minute they want to come and speak to me, they can, about anything. It doesn't matter what. He said, people are going to talk about you, whether it's good or bad things, but they are so humble. They want to improve. And it's so important to stay on this level because they're doing an amazing job. When you are young and everything is going well, it feels great. But it's important for them to be strong mentally when something is not going wrong, not going so well. And Martinelli, you wasn't playing. You had a big injury. For Smith Rowe, for instance, he's probably going to set it. Well, he already has. He's scoring record numbers for Arsenal. But there's going to come a time where he's struggling to score goals. You've seen it with Aubameyang. You've seen it with Kane. Is it naive to expect someone in their early 20s is just going to have a great time in the Premier League every year? You know, Xhaka missed a penalty in the Euros. Man are on him. You know, people were on Xhaka and Smith Rowe at points this season, you know, saying, is the 10 shirt too early? Which that was a legitimate question. Is he good enough? Is it this? Is it that? Is it the third? So they've had moments. And again, I always say, man, start turning on you. The worst thing you can do is really think fans love you. Myself included. I love the club. I don't love the players. It's hard to say that about Xhaka and Smith Rowe because I've been watching you lot for the longest and Martinelli. But if it comes down to I'm loyal to the club, I'm not loyal to you lot. Same as the manager. Same as them lot should be. You can't be loyal to the club. It's a business. You know, this is a relationship of convenience. You lot are good players, so the club has bought you, you know. Or you lot are some of the top young players, so you've come through the academy, you know. This is how it works. It's a business. We love the club. We love the players are always at a drop of a hat. Aubameyang was loved. Partey was loved. And again, if you're not doing the business, there's an issue. But people are going to talk. He went on to say, he is the guy why I'm still in this football club. Everyone knows what happened 2 years ago with the fans. Everyone knows what happened with the fans. And without him, I don't think I'd be here anymore. He's the guy who was pushing me and wanted me to stay. And this is pushing myself to give back what he gives to me and to make the people happy again. And, you know, people, you know, myself included at times, we've all asked what's going on with Arteta's management. That's a good example. He spoke about Aubameyang people and this leadership group. He said, if you have involved more players, it's much better because everyone brings a different opinion. Everyone thinks differently. I think this idea of a captain and vice captain is old school. I have the same situation with the national team as well. And this helps a lot because I don't believe it is enough to have only 2 or 3 leaders in the squad. Fair play. I'm for it. He said, sometimes 2 or 3 of us speak and ask ourselves and each other what we can do better. Everybody should be. Whether you're in this leadership group or not, when there's a time and a place, open your mouth, people. And he said, you know, Holding, Xhaka, these men get called over for stuff. This leadership group is very positive. At the moment, it is easy because everyone is happy while we're winning games, but we know difficult times will come. There's a right time to make sure to be together. When something is not going well, and that is when the leadership group is most important. That's when people need to stand up to be counted, because when things go wrong, I only really saw last time around, I only see Smith Rowe, Saka, these sort of Tierney, these sort of man there. Everyone needs to in their own sort of way. Yeah, so he's right, man. At the moment, Laka is our captain, and I'm more than happy for him. He is a very important person for us on and off the pitch. He's a lovely boy. He has a lot of respect from other players and a lot of experience over the years. I believe you need a player like this. He's always here. He's never too late. Never too late. So Must be doing better than Aubameyang, innit? A lot of discipline. He's a funny guy. He's very open, as all the French are, and you can speak with him whenever you want. I believe at the moment he's the right person to be our captain. He said, I've been in this situation and I know how he's feeling. This is about Aubameyang. Mine is a different story with different problems to Oba. Sometimes maybe this is not a step back, but a step forward. I think Oba is strong enough and has enough experience to be back and to be better than before. I hope so too. I believe everything happens for a reason. It doesn't have to be something to bring you down. You have to think positive and believe you can turn it around. I believe he can. He went on to say, I had some very, very dark days and nights. Everyone can run away. That's simple. You open the door and walk out. As I always say, when you're pushed into a corner, you see what someone's about. They either curl into a ball and whatever happens, or you see a different sort of fight from them, you know. And that's what I like. Xhaka's never ran. I'll give him that. I was never that type of person. I knew I was the right person for this football club. I wanted to give something. I will do everything for this football club to win games and with a lot of passion. He speaks those words with, yeah, man, he does his madness. What else has he said? He's one of the long-lasting players at the club. Xhaka joined in 2016 and had just finished second in the Premier League, and Arsenal were Champions League regulars year after year. His time at the club has coincided with instability, pressures, dramas, overhauls on and off the pitch. He said, I signed partly because I wanted to play in the Champions League every year, but you never know what's going to happen in the years ahead. Still, if I could go back to 2016, I would do the same as I did then. So, yeah, that was a long one, people. Big up you lot. But, yeah, man, we finally got to the end of that. That's Granit Xhaka. And obviously, we've spoken about Ainsley Maitland-Niles. Any opinions you lot want to keep going, keep them coming. But, yeah, that's the article. Jack Wilshere is definitely getting a contract until the end of the season. Danny, we're getting into that territory. I mean, I don't really rate Tyler Adams. So, yeah, man. I think it's a bit of a myth. He's a steady Eddie, but sideward step, man. I don't think there's any rumors about moving on Xhaka, and I wouldn't move on Xhaka in the summer. I mean, in January, you could revisit it in the summer. I mean, I wouldn't say if we lose to City, I wouldn't say I wouldn't rate Xhaka because I rate him, but I don't rate him. I don't think you're amazing. I think what you bring to the team and what you do is not underrated, but it's underappreciated. And I think because you're not liked, people don't see that at times unless things are going well. But at the same time, he's just simply not as good as his fanboys make out. He's not as bad as his haters make out. He's just ultimately a mixed bag. I'm a Roma fan. Is Niles good? Niles is good, but you know what it is, yeah? You need to tell Jose, forget Ainsley Maitland-Niles, man. You got Cedric there. Cedric is sick, bro. You want that Cedric? We got that Cedric, that Chambers, that Holding, anyone you want. We've got that. Listen, if you think Cedric's a quality right back. If you think Cedric is good, Kolasinac is even better at left back. Bundesliga team of the year, available for a free. We'll do you a little deal. Go and tell your director of football you've got with Arsenal, Kolasinac, Cedric. These are the man you need. Xhaka needs to understand that emotional intelligence is more important than emotions. He does not have the same rights of speech as a commoner as he's in the public eye. And I think he gets that, he's calmed it. But what he's allowed is an opinion. He is allowed to react. And I would say he is showing emotional intelligence and has shown emotional intelligence since that thing has happened, really and truly. Overkill from Xhaka, not a bad person, but an inflated ego without question. Was amused when he said he felt he could take a step up from us a few years ago. I hear you, but I'm not saying you're wrong, but why has he got an inflated ego? Is it because he's saying things that people should say, or is it because he's lacking self-awareness? Maybe because we don't like Granit Xhaka, or is it because, and as I was saying with self-awareness, you're probably not good enough to be talking about that, because speaking about surely we wanted players that wanted to step up, that wanted to play at a big level. I do agree in that at times it feels like we've reinforced Xhaka's bullshit at this club, but just playing devil's advocate with you, man. Appreciate that, Terry. DG, people who doubt, you need to look at themselves. I remember your earliest lives. You've come a long way, but never changed. You keep grinding, bro. Terry, stop cutting onions, man. I appreciate that. Man said, talking about Xhaka for over 10 minutes without hearing his story about his keys. World record, man. World record, innit? I am cynical to say this may be PR, but it's in the bloody Athletic. Of course it's PR, bro. Of course it's PR. Of course it's PR. I do think man get on to Xhaka's discipline at times. It's a bit unfair. But I like, do you know what? I like players with edge in it. I might not necessarily think Xhaka's the best player, but I like players with edge because that's me. I like players with edge. I like dark arts. You know, I wouldn't say a team of Granit Xhaka, but that sort of stuff. You throw in a Diego Costa, Luis Suarez for me, bro. It's a Wimbledon crazy gang thing, innit? Dark arts specialist. I love it, innit? Maybe it's because Arsenal don't have that, and our dark arts thing isn't the same. Love to see Zaha and Xhaka play together. DG Passion Gladiators. I mean, how many red cards is he gonna lock up, man? I've supported this club for 64 years now through thick and thin. Xhaka is definitely in my top 10. Stick at it, man. Ooh, Terry, if he's in your top 10, what top 10 ever players to play for Arsenal Football Club? Respectfully, my guy, you gotta respect your elders. But what you been doing with your 64 years? If Granit Xhaka is in your top 10, it's a madness. He'll be remembered for telling us to fuck off. Well, sure, you man told him to. I was at the ground. I didn't. But you man told him to fuck off, you know, off the back of abusing him on socials, which wasn't all the fans, but it got too much. Man's human. You told man to fuck off, man's gonna tell you to fuck off back. You know, I said it then. The thing I was pissed off a bit about the most with that incident was because at that moment you've let your anger put yourself and how you're feeling above your teammates. You know, by all means, tell the fans suck their mums and all those sort of things there. But in that moment where you've done that, you made your teammates' task harder. You know, of getting 3 points and doing all of these sort of things. You know, they're facing the same criticisms as you. Granted, we all know there was times where Bellerin was shit. But there might be 10 games Bellerin shit. There's the 9 games. The one game he's all right, or we lose and he wasn't the shittest. Man always want to talk about Bellerin. Willian got to that territory and Xhaka's part of that. But my annoyance was you've put your own feelings above your teammates. That was it. I didn't agree with him swearing. I didn't agree with fans swearing. Like, I just feel it feels a bit privileged just thinking you can swear at someone and just because I support the club because I've spent the season ticket money. Who told you to buy that season ticket? Who told you to go to the ground? And a lot of it is simply put in life. And I do think with this social media stuff and in the crowd, a lot of people, if you wouldn't say something or behave, you know, if you would tell Xhaka to fuck off to his face, fair play. I know a lot of you would. But a lot of you would be fucking pussy-holes. A lot of you would be twerking for pictures and all them things there, you know. If you were at the time, if you would have backed your chat and said that, then fair play. But I'm not a fan of how man just think they can get in the crowds with people and talk a certain sort of way, act a certain sort of way, conduct themselves a sort of way, and talk to people like, quite frankly, they're pieces of shit where it doesn't make sense. And you've got to look at Xhaka's life, bro. Man's family comes from immigrant family in Switzerland. Man's had to be on the go all the time and fight adversity. But of course, man's gonna be on go. Really. Where did some of you lot come up, man? And obviously, most fans weren't sweat. You know, I'm not gonna say most fans. We all know any fans that were, you know, abusing his family and doing all that them sneaky social media things. Fuck them all in it. Like it's sneaky. It's not needed. It don't make no sense. I don't even want to waste time. We all know the internet's a weird place. Man move weird. That's why, you know, I get it when I see Rob Holding, Ramsdale, Ainsley, Maitland-Niles, when they do them things on hit the like button, by the way, people. When they do them things where you can't at them or only if you're following them or you're verified as well. I get it, because them and there, they have to. Lokonga had it as well. You've got to protect yourself, your safe spaces. That's why I feel in today's day and age, you can't, you know, you shouldn't, and I like to see players talking about it. You shouldn't always, it must be, you know, it's difficult. You know, for me, let me use myself. I don't read a lot of my comments. I'll read my comments so I can react to stuff. But there'd be a time if there's negative comments, I will the negativity, not to feel any sort of way, but I'll just read it. Like literally just read it, see what people are saying. Positive, I'll just read it. Now I do none. If you read all the positive bullshit, you're gonna think you're 30 and you're not. You read all the negativity, where are you gonna get there? You know? You just gotta know they love you and they hate you. Same rope you climb up on is the same rope they hang you with one day, man. Yeah, man, and the Xhaka versus the world thing is dead. But yeah, man, the article never ended, bro. We got there in the end, man. You know what's hilarious? Donnell don't even like football like that, bro. Them man, the bag was there, innit? I mean, logically, most fans could say that it's not them. You know, we know the majority of Arsenal fans were not talking at him and at him and all them things. But at the same time, what do you expect a man to do? I mean, that's what I feel. You know, to get at the Xhaka sexuals, if he's so amazing, it seemed like we was a couple of million short between Roma and Arsenal. Why would they not overcommit if Jose, who just moved at the time, badly wanted him? You know, he had a fantastic Euros. Why didn't they? And this is what I mean. Xhaka isn't as bad as his haters make out. He's definitely not as good as his fanboys make out. You know, people attack Xhaka like they get paid to do it. People defend Xhaka like they get paid to do it. And really, the truth's in the middle somewhere, man. I'd be like Xhaka to you, blood. Bro, man called him an insecure hard man. Boy. Can Xhaka the drama queen please stop talking to journalists and just play football? To be fair, when did he speak to them beyond that, really? We got to allow him a bit. 500 of you locked in. We've only got 208 likes. If you ain't hit the like button, unexpected high bills, Xhaka signing a 5-year deal. Simple as that. It's never too late. Well, that was sly at Aubameyang. Laka deserves to be captain. Great with the kids and looks like the kids respect. At least for these next 5 or so months, really. Man said Xhaka is waffling. You see, even then, it's interesting reading because some of you are saying Xhaka is waffling. Xhaka is telling the truth. I feel Xhaka's waffling a bit, but he's doing it over the top. I feel this and that. Is what it is, man. Bro, Joe Linton in midfield based on the United game. Bring him. We need that. People want Xhaka to individually pick out who he told to fuck off and who he did it. Trust me. It's like, it's not the same, but it's like racism. It's like, well, I'm not racist. I didn't. What am I talking about? Well, if you know you didn't say it, fam, you know it's not about you, innit? Like, come on. But I didn't say it. And then it becomes more about protecting people's feelings than getting to the root cause. Xhaka's in the wrong. The fans are in the wrong. Everybody needs to slap themselves in the back of their head. Man up, even though, well, man up, woman up, you know, even, you know, so set for everything and move on with stuff, man. Everyone needs to pull their pants up and move on because this is one thing I hate. I hate these love dramas at the club. I hate the Aubameyang and Arteta thing now. I hate every couple of weeks it seems like there's something with Ainsley. I hate the Pepe bullshit. The Pepe one we're making something out of nothing. I hate the force Martinelli's not playing because there's problems there. It's dead, man. Our fans are soft. Our fans are soft. Let's be real. Arsenal fans are pampered, soft pussyos at times as well. Let's be real. Let's be real. It's great PR, bro. It's great PR. Everyone loves shithousery, man. You know, there's players that, you know, obviously when Arsenal play against Liverpool, you hate Robertson because you want someone like that. Like Robertson's a prick. You know? Trent is a prick, but you want that. Like Trent, you talk about a fake hard man with Xhaka. Trent is that. Like Trent's always offering himself out and then hiding behind, man. Who is it? Yes, who is it? What Prem game was I watching as well? Someone did that. Someone was shouting, and then they're like, "What?" Then they went behind everyone, and then started going, "What?" I mean, none of you are gonna fight. You don't advocate violence, but allow it, man. Bro, Kolasinac, I think he's the best left back in Arsenal's team. Like I said, that Roma guy, Cedric, Kolasinac, Leno, you know, Nketiah, make something happen, man. Make something happen. We got stuff for you there, man. Hope you're doing better, man. People didn't expect Arteta to be here at Christmas because the team was moving like a mess, rightly so. But now some people are expecting to finish top 4 or they want him out. I mean, I don't think it's top 4 or die. I think it should be Europe or die. I think if you don't keep showing these building blocks, I think if you don't improve on 8th and get Europe, then what are we trying to do here? But I wouldn't say top 4 or die is a madness. Xhaka's passing is class. I wouldn't say class. It's good. I wouldn't say class. Class for me is fucking like David Silva, Santi Cazorla, dead man there, like Cesc Fabregas and all them ones there. We don't even have 200 likes yet, man. Unexpected high bills. And, you know, those of you that had a tough Christmas buying all these presents, boy, January's going to be vexed. I was never really vexed with Xhaka. My thing was him taking his top off and throwing it on the floor. Besides that, I thought it was hilarious. And to be honest, long time coming. I mean, that's in the shit, but man's vexed. It's a bit of a yatty thing. But yeah, obviously, if you want to do the passion merchant, yeah, he throwing the badge on the floor, he doesn't care. I get it. It's just theatrics, man. And I'll be honest, being in that ground, I said it at the time, felt like being in a fucking pantomime. Like I remember just looking around. I was like, "Is this actually happening?" Like, because to be fair, what people forget, Xhaka was getting jeered all throughout, really, and it's almost it became a pantomime. Even when it was happening, it just felt like a circus. Because even in that period, we was having shit results and doing mad things. It just, yeah, man, it was brazy. Them games, that period there, it was brazy, man. There's always consequences, man. Xhaka's world class. I'm blocking you, Kai. Yeah, man. Allow it, bro. After you're reading all of that about Xhaka, I believe the guy is hyped. I'll put money on him being given a red card for the City game. It's a no-brainer. Allow it, bro. You already got one already. Smith Rowe does it as well. Again, we've been speaking quite a lot. So what does Smith Rowe do? I might have missed that. Xhaka definitely being treated unfairly by fans. Some would argue that's partly his fault as well, but it's hard to deny that he gets hate for things some players get praised for at times. Exactly. I can't lie. That's true. And again, this is why I don't really, not that with Xhaka, I'm just saying I don't really like these sort of players at my club, because again, it starts to become unfair. Like if a man's played shit, you can talk about him playing shit. If he's played well, talk about a man playing well. But the thing is with Xhaka and a lot of players at all clubs, I'm getting tired of speaking about Granit now. He's not really that good enough to be waffling about. Man want to just be, you can't be vocal. As I keep saying, you can't be vocal. When he's played shit, Xhaka was shit, he made this mistake. And then when he's played good, man are whispering. You got to give man same energy. Credit where due. You know, you played good, you played good. You played bad, you played bad. You're allowed your opinion, but credit where due. And that's why I love the DG Nation, because you lot do that. But too often than not, people want to project their opinions as facts. People are not open and susceptible to being proven wrong. Like many, well, Ramsdale's the best, probably the worst example, because everyone's probably with it. You know, but some people probably made their bed that he's a poor signing. It's like with Arteta. I'm not saying Arteta is going to turn things around or not. I hope he does. Some people have already made their decision he's not good enough. So no matter what he does, it's not good enough. Some people have made out he's an amazing guy. So even bullshit is going to be condoned where the truth is in the middle. I've said it before. I'm not a fan of Arteta. I'm a fan of Arsenal. I'll give Arteta, like all players, my respect. You're a manager. I want you to do well. You know, when you do well, I'm happy. I want to win. But beyond that, it is what it is, because I'm going to be supporting this club when you lot are gone. I think Arteta has the potential to be a good manager one day. There might come a time where he says, you know what, Arsenal, I have to skedaddle. A lot of even the young players that I love that got potential, if we're not really progressing, and these men are, you know what happens. It's the belly of the beast, man. You know, right now, I love hearing Saka and Smith Rowe say, I want to stay at Arsenal forever. It's very easy to say, I want to stay at Arsenal forever, where in your early teens for Saka and right now for Smith Rowe, you know, you're number 7, number 10, week in, week out for Arsenal, playing for England, living a movie. When you're 26 and you ain't got much years left in the tank per se, and you need to start winning and improving, and you're talking to your teammates on international duty, what's being said there? It's even like Ramsdale. You know, we all seen the comments about how Ramsdale spoke about how he wanted to leave Sheffield, and we all rated it. What happens if he says one day, you know what, Arsenal, you're not matching my ambitions, we've got to keep it moving? It's an interesting one there, man. It's a very interesting one. Let me update the timestamps, Carl. We're just moving very mad with what we're doing, people. But nonetheless, I love it the same way. So yeah, that's that. I think January will be make or break for our season. If we pick up 5 or 7 points, we'll be decent. I don't know, man. You know, I'm just liking where we're at. I've just said May. Do you think Gab Jesus will be a good signing in January? Yeah, why not? But we're not. That's not happening, isn't it? Who will leave in January and who will we buy? In terms of buying, I don't know. In terms of going, I don't know either. But you'd imagine Ainsley's gone. You know, you'd imagine what Ainsley. It's difficult, you know, now that you deep it, because it's a difficult one, because I can talk about players we should be open to offers, but then you start tearing up the squad. You know, one would imagine something might be, you know, Pepe and Aubameyang, probably hard to move on Aubameyang and Pepe, but their futures are going to be speculating. You know, we probably should, regardless of Lacazette, you know, on the base of his contract running down, we probably should be open to offers to him and Nketiah, you know. El Nene the same, but again, we're tearing up our midfield. Leno, probably if I'm him, I'm pushing to leave, but I'm probably pushing to leave. But again, if I'm Arsenal, bro, Leno, do your thing at the end of the season. I don't really care about you playing ball and that. So it's going to be a brazy one. And as we know, it's a difficult period to do business. Xhaka's definitely been treated unfairly by fans. Some would argue that, oh, sorry, I read that already. Sorry if you had. Do you rate Van der Beek as a replacement for Ainsley Maitland-Niles? Two very different midfielders. He would be a sign in his own right. If Man United want to pass him, bring him through. But yeah, man. Chilwell's out for the season. That's deep, man. He was doing his thing as well. Why do you guys always say Laka needs 5 months? 5 months for what? He's literally got 5 months left on his contract. That man can play good football for another 3 years. We need him now in the team. He does a lot for the young guys. We still need his experience. I hear that. Not sure on the first part, but I hear that. My thing with Xhaka is that he never apologized. Instead, he one-upped and came out defending his actions. This is where I draw the line. He should have either apologized one time or said nothing. I hear that. You know, I think both people could have said so. But if I don't think I'm wrong, on one hand, you could just say you're sorry, do the PR thing. But if I don't think I'm wrong, I'm not apologizing for shit. I'm doubling down on my thing as well, which might be a bit silly. You can learn to play the game. But fuck with that, man. Oh, he doesn't allow people to mention him on this. It's probably a better way of life, man. Because it's probably unhealthy, positively and lovely. You got, you know, for these young players, you got a bag of, you know, your life can change. You know, Charlie Patton, no, let's not say it changed in a day, innit? Because everybody knew about him. He's a good player. He's young and his mentality is spot on. But from you make your debut, bare people don't really care about the academy. They see Charlie Patton, or everyone's calling you the Messiah, or this, that, and the other. Linked with Barcelona, next Jack Wilshere. You can see all the tosh that he's put in the papers. And these same journalists and same dickheads, they're going to be the same one when he goes through some shaky periods that are going to tell him he's not good enough. You know, this is what pisses me off about people when it comes to youth football in general, because they waffle about 2 seconds. Waffling, half of the people weren't even watching 23 games for Balogun, but they're waffling about Balogun scoring all these great goals. Lo and behold, a man that has not been exposed to proper senior football looks like a duck out of water and then says he's not ready, he's overrated. No shit, Sherlock. It's jarring, man. It's absolutely jarring. It's absolutely jarring. Xhaka was definitely the pantomime villain, but he's had the last laugh. He signed. Well, Xhaka is Thanos. You can't defeat him. You know, you can't defeat him. Too many people carry stocks in football. Charles, and don't get it twisted. We all love the banter. You said he was better than him. You're an idiot. We all do it with our friends, but it just feels like because you have one opinion now, you've got to have an opinion then. If I thought Aubameyang was the best striker pound for pound in the league, it was always wrong. But there was an argument to be said with that. If I keep that now, I look like a dickhead because he's anything but that, really and truly. It doesn't make, like you said, people are loyal to agendas. People are not loyal to football clubs. People are not loyal to the game at its purest level, man. And people can improve. Big up my Jamaicans. Appreciate you locked in from Kingston, my guy. Bro, even watching the TV, I couldn't believe what I was watching. I was like, no way is this happening. Frustrating thing about Xhaka is he has a range as a passer, just has too many episodes of absent-mindedness and mischanneled energy. I'll leave it there. What's your view on Coutinho joining Arsenal? I'm not really on it, man. I'm not really on it. I mean, ability-wise, all of that, but the baggage and all these things, it don't make sense. It's like you can't tear up Ozil's thing, you know, look like you're trying to get rid of Aubameyang and then bring in Coutinho. If it's a loan thing, then I'm all for it. There's an option there, but it's just bare baggage. Like, these men coming with baggages. If it's just on ability, of course, Coutinho is wavy. You know, it's the sort of player I want to see. You know, I'm biased to Brazilian players already, but yeah, man, it's a myth. Off topic, people. Again, I'm going to be doing a watch along for Southampton versus Spurs later today. Yeah, Southampton versus Spurs. So make sure you're there for that one, people. And, you know, again, we couldn't do Wolves. So I changed I admittedly changed the picture and all of that. Love to the 34 people who have hit the like button of the Arsenal City watch along. Just drop that in there for you guys. Tell me if you disagree, but I see Xhaka as a weaker version of Jorginho, polarizing player when teams not winning. Yeah. Completely different players, but same rhetoric, yeah. Would you take Martial? Yeah. DG, you can't be wrong and strong. But he doesn't think he's wrong. In life, you can't be wrong and strong. But if he doesn't think he's wrong, then he's, like I said, he's gonna double down. Man can't just say sorry because you want to hear sorry. You could have played the game, just said, if I was a head of PR and Xhaka employed me, I'd say, you know what, swallow your pride. I know your thing, but you got to remember there's thousands of fans. You're playing for Arsenal. Everybody in the club knows what I want. People that are gonna hate you are gonna hate you. People that love you are gonna love you. You know what? Just I hold my hands up. I made a mistake. I'm sorry, guys. I know a lot of you have to try and get your trust back. Most, Arsenal fans eat up that emotional bullshit all the time. A lot of them man there said, keep Joe, sell Joe, sell Joe. The minute Joe's actually going, oh my God, don't go Joe Helen, bro, they'll fall for that. But I can understand if you genuinely do not think you're wrong, not saying anything. I get it. If you don't think you're wrong, you don't think you're wrong, innit? What can a man tell you? Good morning, DG. Do you think Eddie has the qualities to learn and play the Laka position? Not right now, because you ain't got the link-up play Laka has. Nah, I'm not taking Daily Ali blood. Yeah, you lost it, man. DG, possible to do a season review? I mean, when the season's done, man. When the season's done, it's not done yet, man. But this week, it's the end of December, so we will at some point review the month of December for Arsenal and sorry for smacking the mic, and preview January, which Liverpool twice, Spurs, City, half of them games there. Probably have to do it without, you ain't gonna have the option of Pepe. I know we haven't used that option too much. Option of El Nene, Thomas Partey, the biggest L there, and it'd probably make more sense if Aubameyang, was the Aubameyang historically, but that Aubameyang's form has deserted him. So, yeah, man, it's not a thing, but he's gone. But saying that, people can make themselves heroes. God forbid, if Laka loses form, things change. Even with Laka, first half of last season, what were fans saying? If Laka gets injured, Eddie doesn't do the business, Aubameyang could come back into the fold, rhetoric changes. Look how much different storylines and all these things we've had surrounding Arsenal. Collectively relegated, we're getting top 4 now. Individually with these players, Aubameyang's back, he's not back. Laka this, Laka that. How do you get, Odegaard? Go back a couple months ago, man. Now everyone's loving Odegaard and seeing what I'm telling, man. About the guy. Look how many things we've gone through, and we're halfway through the season. So think about how many different logical things there are. Xhaka's come back in the team. All of these sort of things. Other players have stood up to be counted. Several other players have probably gone off the well. Tini's lost his space and bagged it back. Smith Rowe's technically lost his space and still affecting it. Odegaard's found his mojo and whatnot. Lacazette has found balance in the team. We've done 4-4-1-1, 4-1-4-1, 4-4-2, 4-2-3-1, and many different variations of such and these things as formations are at this point already this season. So there's a long way to go. Nothing is decided yet. Nothing. I would love Kessié, but it seems like I personally think Vlahovic and Kessié are going Spurs. I can't cap to you. I mean, I hear you. You're not wrong, Badir, but everybody does things differently, innit? Is all I could say. He's allowed to talk his shit if he wants to. I agree with you. He's poking the bear and whatnot, but it is what it is. Everybody reacts in different ways, man. Is all I could say. As I said, I don't think Arteta, man said Arteta. Arsenal fans and Xhaka, everybody's hands were dirty, Nobody is squeaky clean in that situation, and it's a shame, man. If there was an award for the most passionate football YouTuber, I think DG should get that. I appreciate that, but the biggest award is you lot, man. Got the streets, man. Best young player in the Prem right now, Phil Foden. But, shameless thing. Xhaka, Smith Rowe, these sort of man, but for me, Phil Foden. I think they will, man. I think they will, bro. I think they will. I genuinely think they're going to get Vlahovic. I think they're going to get Kessié on the free. Genuinely. Smith Rowe. Who is the best young player? Smith Rowe's wavy, but I don't think no one touches Phil Foden. Well, Martinelli, again, throw Martinelli into the ring. Obviously, I'm here for the shameless ones. You know what? If we hang on the right now thing, then it has to be one of the Arsenal tugs. But I don't think anyone can chat to Phil Foden until I see someone do them things like that. Man's a baller and he's going to be a baller. So I'd say Phil Foden. I hear it. 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 It's funny that even that talking about narratives, Martinelli. Oh, Martinelli's got to go on loan, man. He's got to go on loan, blood. He's got to go on loan, man. He's not playing, man. Arteta tried to tell, man. Tried to tell, man. You know what? Based on the rhetoric, you could see both, you know. You could see both realities. I'd be inclined to naturally believe Vlahovic if Kane goes, and I don't know how they fit him in, but I genuinely think, regardless, you know, Kessié on the free, Vlahovic, I don't know how much they want to put down. Maybe the commissions will take it, man. It's one of them ones, really, really and truly. 20 more likes and we've hit 300 people. Can we get that one done? And again, in relation to transfer news, people, again, Aubameyang's been linked. Aubameyang's been linked with Newcastle again. You know, it's a bit of a boring one. You know, everybody's linked with Newcastle, and we say the same thing. Yeah, they might want to sign for Newcastle, but with Newcastle not looking like they may or may not stay in the league, it's looking like a mission impossible. You know, is it worth it? Does it make sense? All of those sort of things. But for what it's worth, Newcastle in the mix for Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, and Outcast has January preference. I don't know why it's showing you this, but shout out to the Flying Scotsman, Kieran Tierney. Newcastle are reportedly in the mix for Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, though the frozen out Arsenal forward is believed to be eyeing up a different destination. What is this destination? According to Sport, recently bankrolled Newcastle are one of a number of clubs looking to take Aubameyang off Arteta's hands, but the Arsenal outcast is believed to have a different destination in mind. Reports in Spain suggest Barcelona are Aubameyang's preferred choice, with Lyon and Juventus, two other clubs who have reportedly taken a liking to the prospect of signing the striker. It remains to be seen whether the cash-strapped Catalonian club will pursue a deal. As you know, they just bought Ferran Torres, who has been playing as a number 9 for City. So I don't know what to make of any of that, people. Marca, who, you know, were kind of bigging up Real Madrid for selling Odegaard, you know, they're now making pieces about should Odegaard have a place in the Real Madrid team on this form with his 4 goals and 2 assists in 7 games and whatnot. And that's one thing I like. I mean, when things go bad, by all means, we can question mark Arteta's man management with Aubameyang, with Ozil, with a couple of others historically, but then he's wanted Odegaard, he's protected Odegaard, and now Odegaard is thriving. He wanted Xhaka, he protected Xhaka. I won't say Xhaka is thriving, but he's providing his use. You know, all of his summer signings, you know, some were scrutinized more than others. I don't think anyone was against Tomiyasu or Lokonga. They therefore had an opinion on Ramsdale and White, and you're seeing it. So, you know, the biggest thing about man management, you know, is belief. He's transmitted belief, and you can see it. And again, I wish we had 12 players, because we all know Odegaard is probably going to become the face of the team. You know, the Haaland boys are going to be there, but Odegaard's probably going to be the leader. And this is what you want to see, people, and all of those sort of things. He's doing what he needs to do, people. Now, this is the Odegaard we want to see. I still think there's a lot more to come from him. I do think he can control the game a bit more. You know, he can dictate the tempo of a bit more. I still think he could be that old school David Silva. You know, David Silva in his last stage at Man City. I do think he could be close to the new to playing between the lines and stuff. And I'm not comparing him to that. I just feel when I looked at David Silva, or for Arsenal fans, Santi Cazorla, that man there were conductors. I would like Odegaard to have the ability to be able to do that, at least for this season, because then you get Smith Rowe back in. Really is. It really is that. So yeah, it is what it is, and it is what it is in that regards, man. It is what it is. You know, I think we'll leave them Arteta comments till tomorrow. Yeah, I mean May is what it's going to take. But again, you know, you can't criticize Arteta and not give him credit where due. Come on, big up the Trinis. No way he goes to Newcastle. I mean, if the bag was big enough, maybe, but I don't know, man. Agendas will definitely run if he goes Spurs. Dybala probably stays at Juventus, but I would love him. You know, he's a player I like a lot. Good morning, DG. Greetings from Canada. Come on, I appreciate that. And it always sounds freezing them sides there, man. DG, I know you've been here a long time, and you also know how I stumbled across you. If your lives, even in the early days, are among the recommended videos of the club, you love it. You love it. It works, man. Appreciate that, my guy. Come on. Who would you sign in January? I don't know, my guy. I don't know. Slap some piece for Bruno Guimaraes. Try the hour thing. See what can be done for Kareem Adeyemi. These things can't happen, can they? So it's a myth. Try see if we can agree a move for Kessié. Then again, bro, man are screaming Kessié and Partey in midfield together. Oh, I'm not really for it. Like, two of the same players. Like, you could try and see what Sanchez is saying. I can't lie. It wouldn't be my first choice midfield a target. I wouldn't say I would. I'm not against him, but I wouldn't say I'm overly keen on his signing. I do think he helps us. Leon are not giving Aubameyang his wages, bro. No one is. They might pay a percentage, and how much are Leon paying of his wages? Probably more chance of them getting Lacazette back than that. If I'm honest with you, Joe will go down in the books of Iwobi, Walcott, and Ox Trust. Brazy one. Shout out to you, lot, man. It's been an interesting one. He's a ticking time. Bon Xhaka is, man. Talksport, we're talking about Haaland. Sounds far-fetched, but if we keep this form, we might have half a chance, bro. Man, they're listening to talk shite. Bro, listen, you've got Agent Odegaard, innit? So why not? But I don't think Arsenal have a snowball's chance. Snowball's chance of Haaland. Not a chance. Would you take Melo or Wijnaldum? Yeah. I don't think if I was Wijnaldum, I wouldn't want to quit my little adventure at PSG so quickly. Arthur Melo, the only problem is, and again, I don't like talking about personal lives because I don't know what goes on, but you know, he does love a rave, he does love a party. You hear Legri's got question marks over that stuff, people. So yeah, it would be a good player, and then there's baggage, and you know, Mikel Arteta. One thing I like is he's trying to introduce a new sort of mentality and system and things. Guys like Arthur may take the piss. I spoke about Dybala, broski. Yeah, I did. I mean, you know, I think he stays at Juventus. I don't think we have a chance, but we love Dybala. I mean, we wanted him from his days at Palermo. We're not going to score the goals we need, but yeah, it is what it is. No other Arsenal-related news. If we get top four, why not Haaland? Bro, Arsenal could win the league. You're still not going to sign Haaland. Like, you lot can fight me, but you're not going to sign Haaland. You're not. You can tell me a 70-odd million release clause. It's not that, is it? You're going to have to give him some stupid wages, and that's going to have a knock-on effect of every other business you do. That's going to affect if Xhaka, Smith Rowe, all these guys stay. You know, you're going to have to bring in other players on that level because Haaland isn't going to sign for no reason if you're not trying to do that. You're going to have to look after Mino Rinola. You know, you're going to have to deal with all that baggage. There's not a chance Arsenal sign Haaland. Listen, I've told you, lot, for the galley, we'll do a stream only. I'll run around naked on the stream. Man, them are not invited. If we sign Haaland, but you don't have a chance. There's not a chance. There's not a chance of Haaland, bro. Haaland is not signed, bro. His dad could be a fan of Arsenal. Haaland is not signed, my guy. It's not FIFA. You're not getting it, bro. Lautaro Martinez would be a good sign in the summer. Trust. I mean, you know, you're not the only one who thinks Vlahovic is what we need, people, but you're right, man. We're not getting Haaland, you know, man. Arsenal getting Haaland. What's going on, man? Hey, what's truthfully going on? Like, seriously, come on, man. So it's a big myth. I like the optimism, though, fans, but allow it, man. Allow it, man. Man, I haven't even confirmed Champions League, and you better talk about Haaland. Fuck it, you might as well try and get Mbappe or the free as well, then, man. If we're doing all this unrealistic thing. I know it hurts people that Arsenal can't be mentioned for these players, but you've not got a chance of Haaland now. Maybe in the future, who knows? But you ain't got a chance of Haaland, man. Come on now. No other Arsenal news. Apparently, Jamie Carragher named Ramsdale's his signing of the season so far. Fair play. Fair play. Merry Christmas right back at you, man. Bro, Agent Odegaard, I hope so. I hope he works his magic, you know. Hopefully Agent Xhaka can sign Phil Foden then, you know. Or Gabriel can go off with Brazil and sign Neymar. I'd like Osimhen, but he's injured. I like Jonathan David's performances seem to have gone up. I'm still not necessarily convinced as the first choice target personally. Yeah, that would be more logical. Find whoever Dortmund want. They want Kareem Adeyemi. So there you have it. Aouar should still be on the radar, in my opinion. I hope he does work that magic, my guy. Haaland, I mean, Bellingham, how much is that going to cost? How much is Jude Bellingham going to cost? Like, it's going to cost a pretty penny, man. It's going to cost a pretty penny. United have a chance because they have the finances. Like, Arsenal are not going to do that. Like, you lot could try to fight me. You lot could say, well, we're in front of United. Bro, you don't have a chance of Haaland, man. Fucking Haaland. And again, I want to be wrong. You know, I want to be wrong. No one will be more happier than me to see Rob. Definitely not Rob Holding. I don't know why Rob Holding just got brought up there. No one will be happier to see Haaland and Odegaard slapping it in. Come on, man. Come on, man. You lot don't very slyly. You don't even believe it yourselves, man. Well, Grealish. Gahori seems to be finding his way back from injury, doing quite well, man. If your dad didn't have a willy, it wouldn't be your dad. If some of us were faster and stronger, we might very well be footballers playing for Arsenal. Can't do the ifs and buts thing. But if Kroenke's wanted to put the bag down, we could sign a lot of things and do a lot of things, but we need to deal with the reality. That's not going to happen to that level. Appreciate you locked in the Philippines. But yeah, from Arsenal talking about Haaland, I know it's my cue to get out of here, people. Obviously, with that being said, I'm going to be live at 2:30. So in just over an hour, I'm going to be live again. We might as well watch Southampton against Spurs. So yeah, man, it is what it is. I hope you lot could join me. Big up the 6 people who have hit that like button already, man. Hopefully the YouTube engagement algorithm does bits and pieces, but yeah, man, from we're talking about Haaland, I know it's my cue to get out of here, innit? So, on a serious note, I've appreciated definitely the Haaland talk. We spoke about Haaland, Granit Xhaka, Maitland-Niles, a whole bunch of other stuff. The timestamps will be put up as well, people. Let me actually make sure I've copied and pasted that as well, just so you lot. Again, there's not a single YouTuber who cares, not just about you lot that are watching it live, but you lot that are watching it on the replays and whatnot as much as me, man. You know, let me slap that in there for you lot. Oh, it's frozen. Yep, there it is. Timestamps. Again, you lot check the descriptions for videos if you want the timestamps and them things there. But yeah, that's been inserted. Yeah, man, you lot. Sweet, man. Sweet. I'd like them to win as well, man. Appreciate that you lot stay safe. I like Neto as well. If he can come back from that injury, he could do a thing, man. But yeah, man. A man said DG sacking later. I'm not playing Football Manager today. I don't think I am. Yeah, I'm not playing Football Manager today. That's a tomorrow thing, my guy. And I wouldn't say sack because I've got the unsackable thing on. So joke's on you, mate. But anyways, people, stay blessed, stay safe. Hit the like button if you haven't. I'm gonna have to love and leave you lot.
Because always use that active red light, defending.
I think it's like